Have you ever seen a property on Zillow that was ridiculously cheap? Like a 1 bedroom for 50 grand? Well, the odds are it's probably a leasehold property. Now, what is a leasehold property? Well, it is a type of real estate in which the owner of the property holds a lease from a landlord or the owner for a specific period of time. The lease agreement sets out the terms and conditions of the lease, including the length of time the lease will run, the amount of rent to be paid, and any other terms and conditions agreed upon by the parties. The leasehold arrangement gives the leasee, the person who holds the lease, the right to occupy and use the property for the duration of the lease, subject to the terms of the agreement. However, the leasee does not own the land on which the property is built, but only has the right to occupy it. Leasehold properties are common in many countries, especially in densely populated areas where land ownership is limited. They can be used for residential or commercial purposes, and the lease may be for a short or long period of time, typically ranging from 99 to 999 years. But for the island of Oahu specifically, the leasehold period ranges between 5 to 35 years, which is much shorter, as you can see. When the leasehold period comes to an end, the ownership of the property reverts back to the landlord or owner, unless the lease is extended or renewed. The process of extending or renewing a lease can involve negotiations between the leasee and the landlord and may require the payment of additional fees and costs. Now, here are the 5 main things you should know about a leasehold property. Number 1, the lease term. A leasehold property is a type of real estate where the owner holds a lease from a landlord or owner for a specific period, which is outlined in the lease agreement. The lease term can range from 99 to 999 years, or even shorter, because in Oahu, we know the leasehold period usually goes from 5 to 35 years. Number 2, leasehold versus fee simple. The main difference between a leasehold and fee simple property is that with a leasehold property, the owner only has the right to occupy and use the property for the duration of the lease. Whereas with a fee simple property, the owner owns both the property and the land it sits on. Here's the 3rd main thing you should know about leasehold properties. Lease rent and service charges. Leasehold properties usually require the payment of lease rent and service charges to the landlord or owner. Lease rent is a fee paid annually or periodically by the leaseholder to the landlord for the use of the land, while service charges are fees paid for the upkeep and maintenance of the communal areas and services. Number 4, lease extension or renewal. As the lease term approaches its end, the leaseholder may have the option to extend or renew the lease, subject to the terms of the lease agreement and any relevant legislation. This can involve negotiations with the landlord or owner and may require the payment of additional fees and costs. Number 5, legal considerations. Buying or owning a leasehold property can involve legal considerations that are different from those of a fee simple property. It is important to understand the terms of the lease agreement, the rights and responsibilities of both leaseholder and landlord, and any relevant laws and regulations that apply to the leasehold properties. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you folks again. Mahalo.